Title: The Mermaids of the Bay of Ghosts. In the heart of the Caribbean, a small community of fishermen lived peacefully in a coastal village named Porto Escondido. The crystal-clear waters of the Bay of Ghosts, so named because of the mysterious mist that enveloped it at night, seemed to harbor unspeakable secrets. Local fishermen, initially reluctant to share their stories, whispered strange tales of encounters with marine entities that had haunted the bay for generations. At night, when the moon's glow caressed the waves, the inhabitants claimed to hear sweet and enchanting songs emanating from the depths of the sea. The most famous story of the Bay of Ghosts was that of the old fisherman, Carlos, who had experienced a terrifying encounter one fishing night. While alone on his boat, the echoes of sea songs drew him to an isolated area of the bay. There, in the silvery moonlight, he glimpsed elegant silhouettes emerging from the waves. They were creatures, part women, part fish, with piercing eyes and hair that flowed like seaweed. Their song was enchanting, drawing Carlos towards them. He felt an indescribable fascination and terror as he found himself captivated by their emerald eyes. The mermaids, for that is what they were, whispered promises of wealth and eternal happiness if he followed them into the abyss. Enchanted, Carlos hesitated for a moment before realizing that these creatures were not what they seemed. He heard them whispering to each other in a strange language, full of mischief. In a panic, he hastily retreated, leaving the mermaids behind. However, that night he understood that the Bay of Ghosts was the realm of marine spirits seeking to lure lost souls into its dark depths. Over the years, other fishermen claimed to have had similar experiences. Boats were found adrift, their occupants vanished without a trace. Some claimed to have glimpsed familiar faces among the mermaids, loved ones who had perished at sea and seemed bound by the enchantments of the Bay of Ghosts. Despite their maritime traditions and respect for the sea, villagers began to avoid the bay at night. Some even asserted that the mermaids could slither out of the water to haunt the village streets, searching for wayward souls. Thus, the Bay of Ghosts remained an enchanting and dreaded place, where clear waters hid unfathomable mysteries, and mermaids sang melancholic melodies, hoping to lure the curious into their underwater realm. The legend of the Bay of Ghosts continued to haunt the dreams of fishermen, reminding that even the apparent beauty of the seas can conceal unsuspected darkness. Title: The Lights of the Night off the coast of Scotland, where the waves of the Atlantic Ocean caress the rugged cliffs, lies a remote island known as Eilean Mor. At first glance, it appears to be merely an inhospitable landmass, but among seasoned sailors, it is reputed to be haunted by strange phenomena. The legend begins in the 19th century, when the Eilean Mor lighthouse was built to guide ships through the treacherous waters surrounding the island. 3 lighthouse keepers were assigned to this solemn task, and for years, they carried out their duties without incident. However, on a frigid winter night in 1900, everything changed. The lighthouse logbook, later discovered by rescuers, detailed weeks of relative calm, followed by a peculiar note. On the last day of the year, December 31st, the head keeper wrote, "The storm has ended. The sea is calm. Thank God. The others are quiet tonight." It was the last entry. When a rescue team arrived on the island after several stormy days, they found the lighthouse in a peculiar state of abandonment. The front door was locked from the inside, the clocks had stopped, and there was no sign of the keepers. The kitchen table still bore half-empty plates, as if the men had left in haste. Further investigation revealed even deeper mysteries. The keepers' coats were missing, though their hats and boots remained neatly arranged. Footprints led from the lighthouse to the edge of the cliff, but there was no indication that they had returned. In the following weeks, extensive searches were conducted on the island and its surroundings. No trace of the keepers was found. Some reported hearing voices in the nightly wind, desperate calls carried by the waves, but no one ever saw the missing men. Adding to the mystery were the lights. Witnesses claimed to have seen strange glows dancing on the sea on stormy nights, phosphorescent flashes that seemed to emanate from the very spot where the lighthouse was anchored. Some villagers even claimed to hear familiar voices carried by these lights, whispering prayers and calls for help. Years passed, but the Eilean Mor lighthouse remained deserted, its silent walls gazing upon the ocean. Some say the lights still persist to this day, that the souls of the lost keepers still seek to guide wayward ships to safety. The once overlooked island became famous for its mysteries. a place where the sea itself seemed to hold the darkest secrets of those who had served it with devotion. Sailors avoided the area, fearing the ghostly lights and whispers carried by the wind, a reminder that the sea could take as much as it gave, and sometimes it kept its mysteries in the depths of its abyss. Title: Legends of the Abyss. Off the coast of Japan, where the Pacific Ocean extends its infinite realm, lies a small island known as Ishiki. Surrounded by coral reefs and oceanic mysteries, this island was once the stage for a series of strange events that forever marked the local community. The story begins several decades ago when Ishiki's fishermen reported seeing strange lights emanating from the depths of the sea. These lights, described as shimmering turquoise and emerald glows, danced beneath the surface, captivating the eyes of nocturnal sailors. The legend of the lights of Ishiki quickly spread, and some claimed that these glows were manifestations of the spirits of lost fishermen. Others believed them to be abyssal creatures, guardians of the depths, silently observing the world of men. A fisherman named Takeshi witnessed a particularly troubling event. On a moonlit night, as he cast his nets into the dark waters, he felt a mysterious force pulling his boat towards the abyss. The lights of Ishiki intensified, creating a supernatural glow that illuminated the ocean floor. Takeshi found himself face to face with a creature of unsettling beauty. She had the silhouette of a woman, but her skin was pearlescent and her eyes sparkled like stars underwater. She introduced herself as Ondine, a guardian of the seas, and spoke to him in an ancient language he could barely understand. Ondina revealed that the lights of Ishiki were the souls of departed fishermen seeking to guide their peers to calmer waters. She also entrusted him with the knowledge that the balance between the two worlds was disturbed and a catastrophe loomed unless ritual offerings were made to appease the sea spirits. Troubled by this supernatural encounter, Takeshi returned to the village and shared Ondine's story with the elders. Convinced that the lights of Ishiki were more than a mere legend, they decided to reconnect with ancient traditions. Fishermen began placing offerings of flowers and fish into the turbulent waters, imploring the mercy of the sea spirits. The lights of Ishiki responded by becoming gentler, as if the appeased souls of the lost fishermen acknowledged the community's recognition. However, the sea, though calm on the surface, kept its secrets. The lights of Ishiki continued to glow, reminding the inhabitants that the ocean was a mysterious realm where the boundary between the tangible and the supernatural was sometimes as thin as a sword's edge. Even today, the fishermen of Ishiki honor the ancient traditions, placing offerings under the soft twinkle of the lights of Ishiki, knowing that the sea, with all its splendor and majesty, remains a domain where mysteries persist, whispered by the waves and illuminated by the magical glows from the depths. Title: The Voices of the Sea. In the heart of the Caribbean Sea, between the islands of Trinidad and Tobago, lies a mystical stretch of water known as the Passe de la Bouche. Local fishermen carefully avoid this area, fearing the legends that surround it, tales of vanished ships and strange voices echoing through the waves. The story dates back several decades to a time when abundant fishing attracted sailors from all corners to these resource-rich waters. However, the Passe de la Bouche was known to be capricious, with unpredictable currents and dangerous whirlpools hiding beneath a seemingly calm exterior. A sailor named Miguel had often braved these perilous waters, knowing the currents and winds like the back of his calloused hand. One stormy evening, as dark clouds obscured the starry sky, Miguel set sail with his crew, ignoring the villagers' whispers of an impending tempest. As the fishing boat ventured into the Passe de la Bouche, a mysterious force seemed to seize it. The waves, initially calm, transformed into swirling whirlpools. Lightning illuminated the sky, revealing the white foam swirling around the ship. That's when the voices began. Indistinct whispers emerged from the depths of the sea, murmurs that seemed to dance with the waves. Miguel, intrigued and frightened simultaneously, asked his crew if they heard these voices too. They nodded, sharing the perplexity written in each other's eyes. The voices seemed to come from all directions, a choir of ethereal murmurs speaking an ancient and unknown language. The fishermen, battling the forces of the Passe de la Bouche, felt an invisible presence on board the ship, as if the spirits of the sea were manifesting through these enchanting voices. The ship, tossed by mysterious forces, was eventually thrown against a rock hidden beneath the surface. The waves engulfed the boat, carrying the crew with them into the abyss. Helpless witnesses to the tragedy, villagers claim to have heard the voices fading gently with the sound of the calming storm. Since that fateful night, the inhabitants avoid the Pass de la Bouche like the plague. Some say the voices continue to haunt the area, calling imprudent sailors toward their tragic fate. Occasional witnesses even claim to have glimpsed ethereal shadows floating above the turbulent waves, whispering warnings in a language lost over the centuries. The sea, in all its splendor and majesty, sometimes conceals secrets beyond human comprehension. The voices of the Pass de la Bouche remain a dark reminder of the fragility of those who sail the mystical waters, where the murmurs from the depths conceal the fate of a man and his ship. Title: The Mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, a vast oceanic expanse bounded by imaginary points between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has been surrounded by mysteries and legends for decades. At the heart of these mysteries, strange disappearances of ships and aircraft have fueled collective imagination and nourished paranormal narratives. One of the most mysterious stories dates back to December 5, 1945, when 5 TBM Avenger fighter planes from the US Navy took off from the Naval Air Station in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a routine exercise. Piloted by World War II veterans, the planes were led by Lieutenant Charles Taylor. As they conducted their mission, unpredictable weather conditions led to spatial disorientation. Lieutenant Taylor, unable to determine the position of his formation, gave incorrect directions to the pilots, inadvertently leading them into the mysterious Bermuda Triangle. Radio communications became increasingly chaotic. Pilots reported strange interferences, malfunctioning instruments, and general confusion about their position. Soon the planes stopped responding to radio calls, disappearing without a trace. Massive search operations were launched, but no debris or trace of the 5 planes or their 14 crew members was ever found. This mysterious disappearance gave rise to numerous theories, some involving paranormal phenomena such as space-time portals or extraterrestrial interventions. Another notorious incident in the Bermuda Triangle dates back to November 28, 1978, with the disappearance of the cargo ship SS Poet. This merchant vessel was carrying a cargo of corn from Brazil to the United States. Everything seemed normal until the captain reported navigation problems. Communications were interrupted and the Poet disappeared completely from radars. Intensive search operations yielded no findings, leaving the mystery surrounding the fate of the ship and its crew lingering to this day. Theories surrounding disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle include rational explanations such as extreme weather conditions, magnetic anomalies, rapid changes in atmospheric pressure, or unstable seabeds that could trigger methane eruptions. However, the mystery persists, and the Bermuda Triangle remains an area where the boundaries between the real and the mystical sometimes seem to blur. The stories surrounding these disappearances continue to fascinate and provoke debates, illustrating how certain places in the vast ocean can escape any rational explanation, leaving behind a veil of mystery and fascination.